New York sports in general right now are a train wreck. Giants, Jets, they stink. The Knicks brought back some life. The Brooklyn Nets aren't that good.
No.
Right? Islanders, Rangers. I think one of them was pretty good this year. What else? What else am I? Soccer? I don't know. What am I missing?
No, it's not. Soccer is not.
Yeah, and then you got the Yankees and Mets.
Yep.
Yankees like completely deflated in the World Series last year. And the Mets always seem to have a nice big fat payroll, and they never win. When's the last time the Mets won a World Series?
86.
Was it 86? Oh, that's right, the Red Sox. How could I forget that?
86.
That's the whole Mookie Betts and Buckner and all that. Yeah. Mookie Wilson. Yeah. That's right. Betts is with the Red Sox. Yeah, that's right. And he shouldn't even been out there. His ankles were so bad. That's a management problem.
Who's that?
Buckner.
Buckner.
He couldn't even bend down, and it ruined the guy's life. Awful. But hey, tonight we're in Yankee Stadium. The Red Sox are in town, and I'm gonna.
You got seats? You're actually gonna sit down? This fucking guy invites me to a Yankees game. We go to a Yankees game, and I'm all psyched. A day of working. We were in the city.
It's just a whiner.
Just a whiner. Whatever. We get out into the park, and there's a big deck, and there's a big concession stand. I'm exhausted. I want to fucking sit. He gets the cheapest seats, and we're in what's the section called?
I don't know. It's the grandstand. You stand up.
You stand
right next to the beer tent.
You stand
Where else would you want to be?
Game. It was hot in the summer.
Only one complaining. There was like 10 of us. It was Chris. Only one complaining.
I was fucking exhausted. I was sitting in other people's seats. I kept doing like the end of games when people leave. I kept going. I kept getting kicked out of my seats. I was just like, all right, I'm going to sit over here.
And then we went across the street to a club afterwards. That was pretty good.
That was pretty cool.
Skipped
the line.
That's another story. So we get to there's a line, I'm not kidding, a mile long. So I said, I'm going to use my Shark Tank clout.
Boom.
I go up to him. He's like,
you're talking into that mic.
He's like, I don't care who you are.
You don't care who he is.
I said, watch this. I started showing some money. The guy had $50. He said, yeah, every one of you go ahead and
really
gave him $50. I'm not kidding. There had to be 100 people in line? I gave him $50. We got right in.
That's it.
You got the right story, because your story and mine don't align. I thought I was going to say my firefighter badge helped us out on that one.
No.
I think it did.
No, it didn't. It didn't. That one did. But usually it does.
We use our cards well.
Yeah.
Usually either Shark Tank gets us in and cuts the line, or my firefighter idea.
Another good Shark Tank story. I'm in Vegas. We're waiting to go up to the bear park. It's packed, like completely sold out. So I said, how long to wait? She said, like 2 hours, right? I said, 2 hours? Seriously? And I was with Matchbox 20, Rob Thomas's photographer, Jim. Wow. So I'm like, I'm not waiting. So I went up to her, I said, hey, do you watch Shark Tank or Good Morning America or anything? She said, oh yeah, I love those shows. I said, oh, cool. So I started showing me on Shark Tank, showing me on Good Morning America. She said, why didn't you say that? Literally brought us right in, sat us down within 2 minutes. And I said, by the way, this is Matchbox 20, Rob Thomas's photographer. I said, sorry, Jim, I didn't have to use your name today. He couldn't believe it. Chris could not believe it. Yeah. We had a waiter at our table in 20 seconds?
Hot shot. You guys are living.
Gotta do what you gotta do. Brandy hates when I do that, though. She really does.
Yeah.
But it works.
Yeah. What else? Give me a hot
Vikings, man. Vikings. That's a hot one for me. I've been a Minnesota Vikings fan for what now? Boy, 55 years. So
pain and misery.
I lived in Connecticut. So I should be a Giants fan, which my whole family was, or a Jets fan, or a Patriots fan, right? Everyone's a Patriots fan. All my friends are Patriots fans.
I'm surprised you're not a Patriots fan.
I used to go to all the games when they sucked in the 80s. I went to all the games. Always. And I rooted for them because the Vikings kind of sucked back then too, but we all would go.
That's why I say you're like on the bandwagon.
Brandy can confirm that. I'm not on the bandwagon.
This whole Connecticut thing.
So the Vikings have always been really good, but never good enough to win a Super Bowl. And it's like they're always so close, even the last couple of years. And I mean, this year they have a really good team again. They have a rookie quarterback, so we'll see how that goes. But I think some of my funnest times were when the Patriots were undefeated and the Giants were good. Right, we had big parties in my house. a bunch of Patriots fans coming over talking mad shit, how the game's going to be over by halftime. And when the Giants won that game, I was literally handing out suicide cards on the way out. Call this number if you feel that. Because that was such a big upset, right? They still are hurt by that because no one ever went undefeated and since Miami.
Yeah,
and it was even harder. It's harder now because.
And I think the Miami guys were happy that.
Oh, they're always happy.
Yeah.
They celebrate every time it happens. But it was different then, right? Different football back then.
Yeah.
Longer seasons now, and the Patriots really had the best team ever. They had Randy Moss, they had Tom Brady. And the Giants just found a way to beat them.
One of the best T-shirts I ever saw after that game was 18 wins and 1 giant loss.
Yeah, that's good.
That's the old
a good shirt.
Tyrese catching the football on his helmet.
On the side of his helmet.
And it really happened twice if you think about it. Both Super Bowls that the Vikings, the Giants won over the Patriots was something very similar. The first one was the football on the side of the helmet. The other one was like rolling out of the pocket, right? And throwing it down, Manning throwing it downfield 40 yards, and the dude, like, I don't even know how he caught it. Like, it fell out of the sky, and both feet were in. It's like almost another miracle play. So, but at the end of the day, he's got 2 rings now, right?
That's it, against the Patriots.
And one of them, it really is.
I mean,
it's kryptonite. And one of those is like, to break somebody's undefeated season, that's got to be one of the biggest and best feelings ever. And to win a Super Bowl.
Completely agreed.
And I don't have that feeling because I've never won a Super Bowl. I always get close, and I always get... So I have to deal with that all the time from the Patriot fans.
Well, you got on Shark Tank. You know?
Yeah, I know. But here's what I say. I say, the Vikings are...
You got on Shark Tank twice.
Right, but I say the Vikings are my team, but the Giants are my second team. So that's kind of my motivation, that I use the Giants as beating the Patriots. I don't care how many Super Bowls you got. We beat you twice. So that works.
Bryce,
what do you got?
If you ever go to Chris's house, it's like the goddamn Sports Hall of Fame.
Oh, really?
I mean, I don't know. Brandy, I give you credit. You're a saint. Like, you can't look like 4 inches without seeing a jersey in a frame.
Yeah, I got like 50
it
jersey
is
signs.
Out of control.
Baseball. I have Jeter's last jersey that he wore in an All-Star game and the last ball he hit.
What?
All in cases. I got Shaq. I got Kobe. Kobe's first shirt, number 8. I've got Brady's jerseys. I got Gronk. I got helmet. Brady got me a helmet, signed helmet. I was looking at it.
He's got helmets in the bathroom.
Is this real?
I'm at his house.
I do have
I'm
it in
at
the
his
bathroom.
house. I'm doing my business. The helmet's in my fucking way. I moved the helmet. Now what do I know here? I was, Chris, what the fuck? What the?
The guest room has jerseys.
Really?
What's the movie that I have signed your favorite movie? The baseball one.
He's got a ton of memorabilia. He's a huge sports
you don't remember
fan.
your favorite baseball movie? Sandlot. I have Sandlot jersey signed.
Oh, really? What's the most expensive jersey you got?
Oh, it's got to be the Kobe one. I mean, I got a Winfield, Dave Winfield. Oh, I'll tell you a funny story, Dave Winfield. I was at the Marriott. This is by ESPN, and I go in, and my mother's sister had passed away, so I dropped my parents off at the wake. We go to the hotel. And I just go to get, there's like a little salad bar. So I'm going to get salad, and I hear somebody say, hey, when you're done with those tongs, let me grab them. And I'm like, Dave Winfield? Like, I didn't, and Brady's like, how did you even know that was him? So I've been watching him my whole life.
He's only 8 feet tall.
No, I didn't see him. I was looking at the salad, and he asked me for the tongs, and I just said, Dave Winfield,
wow.
look over.
Who is that?
You're kidding, right?
I'm not kidding.
Okay, Dave Winfield is a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest center fielders to ever play baseball.
Got it. What team?
Played with San Diego Giants, played with the Yankees.
Oh, okay.
We were just having this conversation. Did you ever see Back to the Future?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, hang on. Let me finish my story.
I'm sorry.
You're getting ahead of yourself.
Your stories go on for fucking ever.
Jesus.
I'm sorry. Can we do
There's no ADHD here, is there?
Can we do like clip notes?
So then I started talking to him, telling him, oh my God, I've been watching my whole life. I told him when I was 13, I skipped practice. I gave him some tidbits. Sat down. We sat down. Brandy's like, who is that? I go, don't worry about who that is. When I tell you to take a picture, please get a good picture. So then he's talking to me. I'm trying to leave him alone now. And he's talking to me. He comes over and sits down with me. Talks to me how to get Chris scouted, how he's on ESPN. All of the analytical work is all given to him from behind. He's going back and forth from East Coast, West Coast. And he was the coolest dude, man. I'm telling you. Then after when he got a cookie, he put cookies. I got to get these before they go. He goes, he gets a couple cookies. Comes back, takes a picture, said it was great meeting you. Brandy's like, who is that? I said, just Google Dave Winfield. She's like, oh my God, this dude's like a Hall of Famer.
He thought you would have missed the clean guy.
Whatever, man.
Blind ranking the greatest baseball movies of all time. All right? Here's how it works, Landano and Guerrera. All right. Check this out. I'm going to give you 1. Then you got to rank it. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Okay.
1's the best, 5's the worst.
Okay.
But you don't know what's coming up next.
All right. So it's like the pizza reviews, right? You can't give it a 10 because you don't know the next one you're trying.
Right. Okay. So you only have one movie can go in one spot. Right. Let's start with Field of Dreams.
Oh, that's up there.
That's the one
I was like, that might be 1. Oh my goodness. I don't know what's better than that.
You're putting it at 1?
Oh man, I think I'm going to put it at 1. Yeah, I hate to do it right off the bat, but I'm going to put it at 1.
Landano?
I'm going to go 2.
Got it.
That's just to disagree with me because you really wanted to put it at 1.
I'm playing it. I'm leaving cushion.
Yeah.
If I get it wrong,
I don't know.
It's still
I know all the movies,
closest
man.
to the
That's
end.
up there.
Now, see, you made a mistake of going number 1. It is a great movie.
No.
But there might be one that we're missing.
I know.
You don't know
all the
what's
movies.
coming up next.
I know all the movies.
All right,
I'm
here we
going
go.
1.
So, okay, great. You each have your own ranks going. Okay, great. Next movie, Moneyball, Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I like Moneyball. It's good, but it's definitely not number 1. I give it like it's either 3 or 4.
I'm gonna go. I have no choice now, but I gotta go 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 4. If you go 3, I'm gonna go 4.
Okay, got it. Next movie.
You know what's great about Moneyball is that it was.
You're gonna keep talking?
It was a true story. It was a true story.
I know. Yeah, I know.
You know, Field of Dreams was entertainment. It was great.
What do you mean? That wasn't a true story?
Next question.
Next movie is Major League.
5.
It's a classic.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. Don't get me wrong, but I'm gonna go 5. He's gonna have Sandlot up here. Sandlot's gonna be my number 2. I know it.
You know what? I'm gonna go number 1 on Major League because it's the kind of movie that I can watch over and over.
Yeah.
Field of Dreams.
There's also Angels
You watch
in the
it every
Outfield.
few years. I'm going number 1
every
on
year.
Major League.
And Major League Baseball now does a Field of Dreams game in that same exact setting.
It's cool that they do that.
It's really
Did
cool.
Kevin Costner come out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's-
he did. Yeah,
that's-
yeah. He
that's-
did the whole thing. He did the whole speech, everything.
That's cool.
First one was the Yankees, but they
Major
played.
League, I got my number 1.
Got it. Here's the next movie, Bull Durham.
Oh, both are.
5.
Yeah. So what on my left?
It's a
Yeah.
throwaway for Landano.
Yeah. See, I would have switched one of mine. So I got to go 3 now. Bull Durham.
Bull Durham was what year was that?
No, it's good. It's a good movie, but
89?
it's an older one. Yeah. So I have to go with 3 of it.
I know you had
I would have
Susan
moved one of
Sarandon,
them.
Tim
I would have
Robbins.
moved
You know,
one.
good actors in
Yeah.
that movie.
Last
But
one. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Last one. You knew it, Chris. Sandlot. What do you got?
See, the only that so I would have only changed. I think 1 and 2 I got right.
Yeah.
I would have put Bull Durham probably maybe at 5 and then move Major League to 3 or something like that.
Sandlot was never a one for. I know it's a classic.
What do you mean?
But
you
just
have no
telling you.
heart. There's something wrong with you as a kid.
How
How
did
can
you ever
not like Sandlot?
Did you ever see The Natural?
Yeah, Natural's good. There's a bunch
That
of
was-
them.
that was a great movie.
There's another one too. What's the other one you like, Brandy? The one with the New York actor. You made me watch it. No. Oh my
Angels-
God! Did like you
Angels in
forget
the
all the
Outfield?
movies you like?
Angels in the Outfield.
No, that's a good one too. No,
You
there's
left
another
that
one. It was
out.
the
You should have put that instead of Bull.
oh my God! You made me watch it with
Oh wait, what about Bats and Balls?
No, hang
oh,
on.
wait, that's not for,
Sally
that's
and
X-rated.
what's the actor in Sally and Mary? Whatever that movie was.
Sorry.
When she's doing something to him under the table. What is the guy's name? Are you gonna make me look this up?
Wait, that was in Police Academy.
That's
No, it
all right.
was-
We're getting away from the
Oh,
point.
man.
That was a
Yeah.
great segment. Now, let's do for Chris G. I want to hear your. Can we do fuck, marry, kill or no? Are you comfortable doing a fuck, marry, kill? It doesn't have to be about girls. It's
What's the fuck, Mary?
Oh,
No,
okay.
it's fine.
all right. So Sean, you gotta feed it to me because I don't know shit, and then I want to do it for Shark Tank. No, let's do a Shark Tank. Look, 2-time Shark Tank winner. Give me your business bankrupt bubble bath. That's what it is, right? Okay.
Business bankrupt.
All right.
Oh,
we're doing business, bankrupt, and bubble bath out of the Shark Tank stars. 2-time Shark Tank winner Chris Guerrero. Okay. You get to go into business with one, you get to bankrupt one, and you get to do a bubble bath with one. You got Mark Cuban, Damon John, Laurie Grenier, Barbara Corcoran, and
easy.
Kevin O'Leary.
I'm going to go in business
And
with
Robert.
Damon. It's already happened, so it's real life. It's true.
So you're going
I'm going to bankrupt Kevin O'Leary, although I really like him now. The more this guy talks and makes sense when I see him on television, I really like him.
He's creeping up on being my favorite shark.
I said that to Brandy the other day.
Yeah,
right, Brandy? I said that the other day, how much I like him. And Bubble Bath's got to be Lori. You know, I met Barbara and I did some work with Barbara. I would say Lori. I mean, it is what it is.
That's damn near exactly what Damon said when we had him. When we had Damon on the first podcast here, just as a guest in the back room of this building. He was a riot, man. He gave us the business bankrupt bubble bath. So I'm glad we're bringing it back.
I would have thought bankrupt Cuban. He's fun to watch lose.
Yeah, I know.
He goes crazy on the court when they lose. I would have bankrupted him.
I'm telling you, man. Like Kevin O'Leary, I really like him. He's smart.
Yeah.
He really understands, like he calls policies, right? He never takes sides. He talks about policy. And the more I watch him, the more respect I have for that guy.
And now he's in a lot of TV shows on Fox.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
I look at him a completely different way because he really comes from. He really just calls it as it is.
You know, even during COVID, when I was on the set, you're not even supposed to talk to them or meet them because it was COVID protocol. But they were all great. I got to meet them all.
Yeah.
They were all super nice. I mean, I mean, it's not like I think Kevin O'Leary plays the role a little bit.
Yeah.
The best thing, and wait, this gets edited out. The best thing is, they it's so fucking funny. They're all isolated in different rooms.
Oh yeah.
They can't talk to each other because of COVID. The nurse that comes to test them every day is coming from the outside.
And she tells me, she comes in my room that I've been locked up for 5 days already and says, put your mask on. I go, what do you mean? Put my mask on. I've been in my room all 5 days. Well, I have to. Then I put my mask on. She just take it off. I have to do a test. She just told me to put my mask on.
That was probably one of the most comical things you told me.
Well, then she told me. I said, where are you coming from? Were you staying here for 11 days? She said, no, I just came from the outside. I'm like, what?
All right, look, you're a Shark Tank alum, so I think it goes without being said that you have a certain eye for inventions and products, right? So, Chris, tell us, what do you think is the most iconic or innovative Shark Tank product of all time?
Wow. What comes to mind off the top, because you said there's keywords, there's something like really simple, like a sponge, right? Like Scrub Daddy, but then there's something that I really like, which didn't even get a deal, and it was kind of a boring pitch, is the Ring.
Ring camera?
Yeah.
And they didn't get a deal, right?
No, you didn't get a deal.
And it was called something else before on the show.
And it wasn't as smooth looking as it is now, but I think about, like, I use that all the time, right? We have it all over the house. It's such a great benefit, and the way he came up with it, because he kept getting someone at the front door, and he was in the garage, and his wife's like, you get the door. And so he's like, I need to put something so I can see who's coming to the house.
Yeah, the Ring doorbell was called the Doorbot.
Yeah,
when it was
that's
on
right,
Shark
the
Tank.
Doorbot. And honestly, it was kind of a boring pitch.
Well, he ended up becoming a guest shark, right?
Yeah.
Full circle. It's a great
crazy.
story.
Yeah, and he's a smart dude. And seemed like a really nice guy. Never had a chance to meet him. Unlike the Scrub Daddy, right? I'm friends with Aaron, and you think about his sponge, right? It gets hard when it's cold and soft when it's hot, and it doesn't scratch anything. And Brandy was using this at the house one day on our stainless steel hood. I'm like, what is that? Like, she just, I don't know. My mother sent me this sponge, and she was using it. I'm like, you're gonna scratch the hood? No, it's perfect. So I didn't even know Aaron at the time, and that's kind of a testament of a great product, right? I didn't even know Aaron. I mean, you're not even associate liking somebody with their product. I liked the product before I liked Aaron.
Interesting. All right, I like these segments. These are good, kind of like question answer. These are TikTokified, right? Sean, you got anything else good? All right.
You got anything good, Brandy?
Let's get it. Yeah, Brandy, you got anything? Okay. How'd you come up with and Landano, feel free to chime in. How'd you come up with Pitch to Pros?
So our Pitch to Pros started out probably 2 or 3 years ago, maybe. We were doing the trade shows, and I know there's a lot of people wanting to pitch products to get the word out, but really to people who are in the industry. And I started thinking, so what if we brought some real professionals who actually have achieved success, not just folks who marketers say they've done something, Like I see people marketing themselves as, I can help you get on Shark Tank. So then I ask them, have you been on Shark Tank? They say no. So then what are you helping with? You don't know the process to get on Shark Tank. So what are you actually doing? So I said, I'm going to take it to the next level. I'm going to actually bring folks that have done it. So I do work with a lot of Shark Tank winners. Aaron's always cordial with his time with me. And I started developing these panels. And I said, okay, what do we need on the panels? Well, we need somebody who's maybe does IP, right? Intellectual property, someone that knows how to market, someone that knows social media, people that are manufacturing, right? People that are on television. So I said, let me start looking at how can I give the entrepreneur, I know the journey and how hard it is, to make it easier for them to get real pros to help them. So it started out as small scale at the trade shows, and now it's turning into something pretty elaborate, right? We got websites, we got intellectual property on it, and I'm going to do the first one on June 20th and 21st in Greenville, South Carolina.
Yep.
And it's actually blown up. I mean, more than I thought it would. Now all the networks are coming.
Yep.
Got all the paper. I'm actually on the Greenville cover of the Greenville News next issue.
Yeah, buddy.
It really took off, and the outpouring of folks that want to help has been even greater. And you can weed out the ones that really don't want to help, they just want the business. We're not looking to do that. We're looking to truly help the entrepreneur. And I think Chris has been a big part of that.
We've reached the capacity because there were so many people that were waiting to see like if this thing was going to really take off. And now it's taken off, and now we're telling people it's too late.
Yeah, I mean, I had to get to they offered me at the Marriott AC a bigger venue to hold more people.
Oh, wow.
Because it literally blew up. And, I think the benefit for me, it's like when I was in corporate America, me going to a company and fixing some of the process problems allowed folks to make more money, to get bigger bonuses. And when they start feeling like part of the team, solving the problems, the feedback was amazing. I still got people talking about things I did for them 30 and 40 years ago. It's the same thing here.
Yeah.
Like the feedback of being able to help somebody get a product launch. And Chris has got a product that he worked on, for the last 8 years. He's a fireman for 20 years. He had an opportunity to develop a product through a real life scenario, a situation that was life threatening to him. Yeah. And I find that to give to that level of expertise to an individual who really needs the support, the reward back is insane. The level of call out you get on social media, the thanking you, and the sense and level of appreciation is incredibly rewarding.
And that's interesting because Chris has an unbelievable track record of success as an entrepreneur in manufacturing. Me, I was just starting out. And I went through the journey that every inventor goes to, and it is grueling. It's not for the weak. I mean, it gets expensive. And if you don't know what you're doing, which I didn't know what I was doing when I was first starting out, and that's why, before I met Chris, I was already into it for a few $100,000.
Yeah.
But me and Chris were developing our relationship, and I was going through money. And if you don't have someone on your team that has that success, because there's a formula. Maybe there's a different way of getting from A to B. It's a squiggly line, but you got to get to B before you get to C.
Yeah, and I find people, entrepreneurs in particular.
You gonna let me finish?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying inventors.
Holy shit!
I was talking about where they spend their money in the wrong place.
I wait for you to finish.
I was feeding off of you.
I know, but I was still in mid. I took a break.
It's a dangerous game, entrepreneurship, Jesus. And as Damon always says, entrepreneurship is democratized now.
Go ahead.
Right, I was just saying, like you said, you spend all this money, right? A lot of folks will spend money on intellectual property when they don't need it. They haven't proven out a market yet, or they spend it on. I've seen people spend $8,000 on a website. Mm-hmm. I'm like, why? You can spend $1,000. You don't need $8,000 website. You need money in the end to market it. And they tell me, but I have a great website. I said, that's terrific. How are you getting them there? Right. They don't know your product exists. You got to get them to your website to look at it, to buy it. So I think that's part of it, right? Is where to spend your money and the right spots to generate the cash to continue to grow it.
And I think that one thing that we should think about doing is like a book on the biggest and most costly mistakes as an inventor. It could be an ebook, but just something to get out there, because the invention industry is so goddamn fucking corrupt. There is, and this is where I've been a first responder my entire life. I started working on a New York City ambulance when I was 18 years old, and then I retired from being a New York City firefighter just a few years ago. So I'm always wanting to help other people. So when I started working on my invention, as I was just trying to figure things out, I was meeting all these inventors that were telling me, be careful about the scams, be careful about the frauds, don't trust people. And about 10 years into working as an entrepreneur inventor, I realized that this industry was so goddamn corrupt. And everyone who's an expert, they know how many everyone knows who's scamming who and who's being fraudulent, but everyone just looks the other way. And that was one thing that I'm really become passionate about, and something that I try to do with any organizations that I'm involved with, is try to share that with inventors. And that's one of the reasons why we started Modern Inventor, not because of the scams, but because we realized with Chris's experience, I guess maybe I was a little influential, but it's like starting out inventors, they have such, in order to be successful, I mean, the success rate for an independent inventor in the US is probably like 1%. It's so low, and new inventors don't know this. They really, companies that are out there marketing all this information online, they're so full of shit. When they announce that there's a licensing, success for this inventor who had a licensing deal, but they never talk about success because the inventor doesn't have success. There's so much fraudulent markening. It's so
I have
bad.
people sending me notes in LinkedIn and wanting to help me. I'm like, do you even know who I am, man? Did you check out my background? So I send them my website. Like you're asking me for things that I currently know how to do. So you haven't even checked out who I am.
So there's a lot of phishing. They're phishing.
Yeah,
a lot of phishing, and that's why we started Modern Inventor to give the inventor a greater success of having a greater opportunity of having success versus us profiting off of them, which a lot of people in this industry do. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but there are so many people that go to Chris, and Chris doesn't charge them because he knows the chances of them being successful is going to be so hard. I'm
so selective on who I work with now too. I really am. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. So tell us then, what should I do as I'm just starting out as an inventor. Where should I spend my money? Give me the real answers here. Like, I only have a small budget. I'm just starting out. I have a new product. How should I allocate my funds?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the beginning, like everyone thinks they need to get a patent right off the bat. You really don't. You really don't. You can protect it with a $100 provisional.
There you go.
That lasts you for a year. Then you can test the market out. You can go see if it's going to sell, if you have a market in it, and if it's truly a product. Because you'll find the first one that you actually launch will have revisions. Your packaging will get better. I mean, all of us have been through that. Right, you go to Walmart. Walmart's, I don't like your packaging. Make this, make that change, make this change. So why spend all that money on thousands of units?
Right.
When you should have hundreds of units.
Right.
Get it out in the market. Get feedback.
And that goes into what we talked about before with the website. Website's going to change over and over, and web development is not cheap. But to answer your question, which is what he basically answered, was validate that your idea is needed by tens of thousands.
Yeah.
Not a few.
The consumer is going to tell you if it's needed, not you.
Right.
Right. You have an idea, you have a gut feeling, and everyone who has a product to release, it becomes their little baby, right? And they're very passionate about it, and they think it's going to be the next $1 million idea, and it's probably not. I mean, honestly, it's probably not. But there might be a benefit to it, and you might have a market. But until you prove it out conceptually, and you realize there truly is a market, why are you spending all this money to hang a patent up on your wall? What is the point of that?
Right, and people think that by hiring an inventor coach, it's gonna increase their chances. No, it's not. It's gonna put more money in the coach's pocket, because these coaches, a lot of them,
and some of these coaches have never even done it.
Yes,
they've never.
It
blows my mind. I'll start talking to them and I'll ask some questions, some basic questions, and they say, "Well, I've never launched my own product." But you're coaching someone?
Wow. So I would say, look, entrepreneurs walk in the door every day here at Q29, and they are, even though they're thinking about creating pro content, people are not taking advantage of social media, sharing their story and getting it out there. It's the most organic form of marketing you can do, and it's free. So that's an added element. There is no limit on the amount of lottery tickets you can put out there on social media video that could potentially make you go viral. And if you have that virality, then you could potentially sell your product without running a paid ad, without running a radio campaign, without doing exercising your budget on marketing costs that maybe these inventor coaches are pushing people to do to drive sales. So
and think about it now, right? Our access to television, we have a lot of access to television. You get millions of people to see it, but think about the social media platforms, like what you can do with social media that you couldn't do before. That if you're actually good at talking, you can promote yourself and start figuring that channel out, which doesn't cost anything. It costs your time.
And speaking to the customer's pain the same way that you would on a sales call or in an advertisement is the same way you should be doing it, and incorporating storytelling on social media. So pro tip, do it
Absolutely.
up. Yeah.
So we want to see the next big idea on What's That Big Idea with your host, Chris Guerrera.
Let's get into the amazing invention that we have right in front of us right now.
Yeah, Track Belt 360. So I want Chris to talk about this because this is how I met Chris. I met Chris on Good Morning America with his belt. And at the time, I'm not kidding when I say this, it's a running joke. I thought he had just gone to Toys R Us to buy his belt because it looked like something a child would play with. I go, that's your product? He said, yeah, that's my product. Okay, fast forward, I don't know, 3 years later, it's like one of the coolest, highest performing quality belt I've seen in the market. So I want you to talk about it a little bit, Chris, because this thing is, and it was born from a near-death accident you had as a fireman for 20 years.
I was working besides being a New York City firefighter, I was also working as a forensic photographer for the New York City Fire Department. And at the time, I was responding to incidents, and there was a report of a building collapse. It was in Queens, and I responded. And I got there, and there were reports of people trapped. There was actually a parking garage that was doing construction, and they overloaded the roof, and it collapsed. And there were reports of people trapped in their cars. So in Queens, we have rescue. Every borough of Queens has a rescue division, and these are like the bravest firefighters. Not that every firefighter is brave, but their specialty is certain types of rescues. So Rescue 4 firefighters went in, crawling on their hands and knees. There wasn't even enough space where we wear our Scott tank, which is our breathing apparatus.
Got it.
And what they did was they could not fit into the space with their breathing apparatus. So, we are known as the bravest firefighters in the world, which is why firefighters from all over the world come to New York City to watch us train. And so the Rescue 4 firefighters went in, risking their lives, as they do on every call, as we all do, every first responder. Without their breathing apparatus. And, being a firefighter and a trained photographer, I studied photography in college, I crawled in on my hands and knees with them. And I was just kind of figuring it out, trying not to get in their way. And I took a lot of really amazing photos. I have those photos on my website. And the part of the building was still unsafe and coming down. And you could see in the photos, I wasn't doing video, the cameras back then in 2003, 2004, you didn't have the option of having the photo and the video built into the digital cameras. So I was just shooting stills, but in the photos you could see the stress on the firefighters' faces. And even there were a few times, debris coming down. And so I was like, you know what? I got these great photos. They were gonna start making their way out. I made my way out in the same way I came in. And I did what's called like a swim move to get through a piece of concrete. And half my body was through, and the other half of my body was on the other side of the wall. And my pouch, which was on my right side, got caught on some debris. And I was trying to move it, and I couldn't move it. So what I had to do is I had to ditch my whole photography belt, which was over the firefighter pants. I wasn't wearing my jacket. And I had to ditch the whole belt, which had a bunch of camera pouches, a bunch of lenses. So I ditched the belt, pushed it behind me to get through the debris. And I came back and got my gear, which was kind of filled with all sand, and it was just a disaster. And as I was crawling out of there, I was just thinking to myself, what if I could have just rotated that? And I started working on, I started off with a vest to avoid that problem. And, I went through the journey. I hired
Well, let me stop you there. That's key, right? All your designs evolve.
Yes.
Everything I've worked on. I've launched thousands of products for Ford, BMW, GM. They all evolve until they're the right one.
So
solves the problem.
I made a prototype using existing products that I had because I didn't know how to put a track on my waist. But then I sat and I met with my first engineer and I told him the vision, and then he came up with the drawings and I got my first prototype. And then that was the first prototype I had was when I went on Good Morning America.
We had a Shark Tank.
When I saw Chris, and it really was held together with duct tape. It was flimsy.
I was like, that's really your product? You're showing that today?
It was light, it was flimsy. And then a year later, I met a young entrepreneur here in Brooklyn, and he was coming out with some really innovative products with foam molding and padding and really high quality plastic with the logo built into it. And he took me under his wing, Sean Peterson. It was a company called Strong Arm Technologies. They just sold that company. Sean is an amazing entrepreneur. I never introduced Sean to Chris. He was based in Brooklyn. Now he's in Arizona doing another new company. But I literally let Sean help me redesign the whole product. And it came out to looking what he called was the BMW of the tool belt.
Absolutely.
And so Sean was a huge, he helped me come up with the whole design. And it was quite a journey of a few evolutions, and it's expensive. It is expensive, and I didn't know. And fast forward to today, between my own investment and some angel investors, I've got almost 600,000 invested.
Wow.
Knowing what I know today, if I was starting from scratch, I could do the whole thing, get a few thousand of them made for probably under $250,000. So there was that learning curve.
But what does that tell you? Like, you got to meet the right people early on too, right?
So important.
It's critical to spend your money in the right slots at the right time.
Oh my God.
And have the right people in your camp.
And this is why we tell inventors, like a lot of inventors, and I try to talk from my experience. I try to stay in my lane, and I try to tell inventors, there's a formula to launching a product. I mean, if you don't have someone on your team that knows how to do it, knows how to manufacture, knows how to save money on shipping, knows how to launch that, you're looking at probably a minimum of $200,000 to $250,000, and a lot of it's going to be in mistakes.
And think about this, Bryce. A lot of people will spend your money foolishly. Like I know how to spend my money, right? And when you start spending your own money on launching a product, you have a completely different point of view than if you're spending somebody else's money, and if you make a mistake, it costs you more money.
Yeah.
Right. So completely different perspective.
And I'll give you a little bit of the timeline. So I was looking at first making it in China, because I figured that's what everyone tells me to do, when I was coming through the process. And this was about the time that me and Chris were just starting to get to know each other. And it was really Chris who was influential and said, make it in the US. Make only a few hundred units. It's gonna be more expensive, have it done right. And I did that. 2018, I made 500 units. Tested it out in 2019. March of 2020, I have it going into several stores. Pandemic hits. I'm still a New York City firefighter. So the manufacturers that were holding my molds and all the product components had to ditch it. And they literally took my molds out of the machines, they put them up on pallets. And in 2021, I said, you know what, guys, will you give me another shot to go into these retailers? Now, we were just coming out of the pandemic in late 2020. I said, 21, let me give this another shot. The retailers were like, you know what, you're a New York guy, we like the story, we like the product. It was going into B&H in New York City. You know B&H, right? It's the number one retailer in the world. They still like it. They still support me. They reach out to me all the time. So that's the goal, to get it in there. And we had a few retail for construction specialty shops. They liked it too.
Oh, that's great.
And January of 2020, I was diagnosed with cancer from 9/11. Thank God I caught it early, but that kind of delayed that whole launch again. So, now thank God, cancer free, going on 4 years, but it was just that second hiccup.
Wow.
And then the next few years after that was personal stuff and some other medical conditions that I've dealt with. And it's really over the last year that I started rethinking track belt, and I'm making it here in the US with Chris's help, and we're gonna give it one last shot. This is my final shot with this product. It's been a journey, but it's been an amazing journey because I've met Chris and so many other amazing people that I've kind of become family with and friends, and now we're doing all these other great things. So whether track belt is successful or not, in my head, it was a successful journey.
All right, so we've been talking about the Track Belt 360 and how it was developed, right? Now let's see it in action.
So Track Belt 360 is a tool belt unlike any other. See, what happens is with most tool pouches, you get the belt and the pouches are stitched into the belt. So the manufacturer basically tells you how you're going to use your system. But what happens is a lot of people sometimes need to move the pouch to the right, to the left, out of their way if they're going up ladders. So this belt system, it allows you to rotate your pouches 360 degrees. So this is a typical construction rig setup. And then let's just say you're a photographer. You could have your lenses, your camera gear. It's a tool belt system that works with any industry pouch. Let's just say at the end of the day, you're done working. Let's have a drink.
Hey, look at that.
Oh.
Look at that. That's what I'm talking about.
Cheers. I don't have one for you, sorry.
Cheers, thanks, you selfish bastard.
Track Belt 360 is a tool belt system like no other that allows you to access your tools quicker, easier, and safer. So, who's ready to go for a spin with me?
I like that. Spin, Track Belt 360. Any inventor out there, entrepreneur looking to have your product featured on my show, What's That Big Idea? Reach out to modern-inventor.com. Click on the top, What's That Big Idea? And you can be featured on my next segment.